Good morning. It's not even 10 o'clock yet, and I had my camera on me. I got to do a real estate shoot for someone a little later, and I thought it would be a good idea to bust out the camera right now and tell you a little story that I have about what has happened so far in my day. A client of mine sent me a listing that I've got her set up for an automated, listing search, and she said, "Hey, Elliot, I'm gonna go check out this home. And we got to check them out fast because, they go real fast." So I check out the address online to see if I can get inside the home, and there's a notification saying that the listing agent is no longer accepting showings. I'm thinking there's no way that this home went that fast. So I call the agent and I figure out what's going on, and she goes, "You know what? This morning I received about 30 phone calls," and she said she wasn't exaggerating, 30 phone calls on seeing this specific home, and her seller became so overwhelmed that she wants to take the home off the market until she can find a home to purchase. I told the agent, you know as well as I do, that's practically impossible due to the home sale contingencies. A lot of sellers don't want to purchase a home from someone that hasn't even sold their home yet. And she goes, "I know, but I have to convince my client, and that's step number one before I can let you into the home." So with that said, I thought it would be a good idea to make a video around contingencies and how the more contingencies you have on your offer, the least likely you are to get a home because someone else has less contingencies. So I got some work to do today. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I'm actually in the gym parking lot right now. Let me go ahead and do some stuff, and I will see you back at the studio. Now, welcome back to the office studio space. For those of you that are new here, my name's Elliot. I'm a licensed real estate broker, agent, salesperson, realtor, if you will, in Illinois and Wisconsin. And here on this channel, we'll talk about everything related to real estate and the finances around it. As you heard my backstory from this morning, the housing market is absolutely crazy at the moment. And with that said, everyone wants to buy and or sell their home with the best terms which suit their interests. And in today's video, I'm going to shed some light on how your contingencies may benefit or hurt your opportunity to do so. Now, before I dive in, I want to remind you to do this channel a solid. If you can do me a favor and give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, as it does help the channel so you'll know the next time I upload an amazing video. So first things first, some of you may be wondering what a contingency or a contingency clause is. And it's a clause written into contracts which allow the contract to be broken with no penalty or loss of earnest money to the buyer or the seller. Now, for those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you know I like to keep things simple and pretend I'm Oscar Martinez explaining what a surplus is to Michael Scott as if he's a 5-year-old. A contingency is like a get out of jail free card. If we have a contingency in place on a certain subject, it allows us to call it quits on the whole thing. As I go over examples, you'll have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So take a look at this. I've pulled up a copy of the contract we use here in Illinois, and if you're in Wisconsin or another state, the concept is pretty much the same and it just looks a little bit different. So to simplify my example, you're ready to buy a home, you spoke with your lender and they said you were pre-approved for a mortgage for a $200,000 home. Your lender also said you've been pre-approved for a conventional loan. However, in order to qualify for that said specific loan, you must put 5% of the sales price down for a down payment, and in exchange, they'll provide you with a 3% interest rate, because obviously the banks want to make money off the funding of your home, right? Now, what this financing loan contingency says in 5-year-old Michael Scott terms, if you will, you have the right to back out and keep your earnest money, as long as you follow the terms of this portion of the contract. Paragraph 7A, line 65 states, if a buyer having applied for the loan specific above is unable to provide such loan approval and serves notice to seller not later than the loan contingency date, this contract shall be null and void. As a side note and a full disclaimer, I'm not saying if you can't specifically get this loan, you have the opportunity to back out of the contract. There are factors that may come into play. Everything is always on a case-by-case basis, so make sure that you speak with your respective professional when it comes time to making an offer on your home and responsibly understand the contracts that you submit. Now, another example of a contingency is a home inspection contingency. To keep things moving along, you have the right to inspect the home, and the home inspector will report potential health and safety issues. Now, if you want to, although most of the time I don't believe it's a good idea to, you have the ability to waive your right to inspection of the home itself. Right here you can see on paragraph 11, line 155, it does read, buyer acknowledges the right to conduct inspection of the real estate and hereby waives the right to conduct any such inspections of the real estate and further agrees that the provisions of paragraph 12 shall not apply. Now, I'm not gonna go over the specifics of all that, but if you don't care to see what's wrong with the home, or you believe that you're capable of doing the repairs after you've seen the home itself, or you believe that waiving the inspection will up your chances of winning the bid against the multiple offers that are on the house, go right ahead. It's 100% up to you. You could do whatever it is that you want. Now, a quick note before I get into the biggest contingency struggle for most home buyers, I'd like to take the time to remind you that I am a licensed realtor in Illinois and Wisconsin with an amazing team of referrals in my network. If you or anyone you know is thinking of selling their home in the near future, buying, renting, investing in real estate, feel free to reach out my way. Even if you're not ready right now and want to do something in the distant future, I'd be more than happy to help you with that with a free consultation, and together we can achieve that goal. And if you don't live in Illinois or Wisconsin, that's absolutely okay. I can still help you out. I've got great friends everywhere who make up a great network of agents around the country, as well as international. I'd be more than happy to refer you their way. The way I see it is, why Google a random real estate agent to help you out when you could have two? You'll have the agent that I refer and myself to check in. With two agents, you'll feel more confident knowing that you have both in your corner helping you out with what's in your best interest. For more info, be sure to check out the description below. As I always remind my clients, it's better to have a game plan and do nothing with it rather than to need one and not have it. Once again, to try to keep this video nice and short, to the point, the third and last contingency I'll cover, as you can honestly draft any contingency that you want, is the sale of buyer's real estate, or what most of us call a home sale contingency. Now, what does this mean? It means you could submit your offer to the seller with this contingency. You're telling them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we wish to buy your home. However, in order for us to do so, we must sell our home first. As you can see here, it's a pretty extensive section of the contract with a lot of ins and outs. If the purchase of the home requires you to sell your home first, you have to let the seller know if you've got the home under contract, and if so, what additional contingencies does that home sale have? And if you don't have your home under contract, you'll want to let them know, has it been publicly listed for sale? Do you intend to? And when? So you might be asking yourself, why is this so important and why am I covering this in such great detail? Right now, as of April 2021, and pretty much for the past year, it has been a hot seller's market. The seller in a transaction has so much leverage over the buyer and pretty much can have more than 50% of the terms in the transaction go in their favor and their interests. And from a seller's perspective, the more contingencies that a buyer presents to the seller, the more unattractive that buyer's offer becomes. So let me break it down for you like this. A seller wants to sell their home, and you have to wonder, once the seller sells that home, where will they live? Most likely they will buy a house themselves. And in this market today, we know that the buyer barely has any leverage. So in this particular example, why would the seller accept an offer in which that offer may potentially halt their chances of landing the home that they wish to purchase? All it takes is for one contingency to ruin the entire purchase. And the same thing could be said for their seller and their seller and their seller. So at the end of the day, you could have 20, 30 families involved, and all it takes is for one person to ruin the whole string of purchases. So going back to my example from earlier, I personally believe it would be better in their interest for that specific seller to sell their home, list it, and get it under contract before writing an offer on a home that they wish to purchase. I mean, all it takes is for one offer to come in with less contingencies to pull that house from right underneath them. So after explaining all of that, it kind of makes sense, right? It almost feels like common sense at this point. Now, I understand most of you watching this video, you aren't necessarily in the realm of real estate, nor do you deal with this kind of thing on a regular basis like I do. So I want to take the time to explain to you why you might not be winning bids on your homes if you've submitted offers. I've been working with many clients recently who have given generous, very, very generous offers. And those could be based off price, could be based off timetables, it could be based off of pretty much almost everything without giving too many specifics, and we have still come short. Think about all those things and how you could leverage them and to your advantage. So the next time that you find a house which you wish to place a bid on, think about all the things that we've just discussed and how you could leverage them to your advantage and work in your favor. And if you don't have enough leverage based on your circumstances, the only thing you could really do for yourself is really increase the price. And if that isn't really an option based off your pre-approval amount, you might want to have to start knocking off contingencies in order to land that home. Now, once again, I'm not advising you to waive any of these contingencies. Please, please, please speak with your respective professionals when you're making that decision. I'm simply just shedding some light on the current state of the real estate market and the terms on your offer that may make or break the deal itself. So my question to you is, when you purchased your home, did you get the terms that you wanted and were you happy with the outcome? I encourage you to share your story with everybody else here. Help out those first timers who are looking to potentially make a move soon. The more you share, the more you can all help each other out. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you haven't already, please give this video a like, as it does help grow the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the other videos, as there's a bunch of great content, and I will see you on the next video.